Hi guys. So as I said earlier today, I'm going to do my best to do some videos this weekend. It is, let me see, it's 10 after 4. I guess maybe it's close enough to call it the weekend, so here we go. I want to bring you some practical ideas for staying organized in your daily life. It's easy for us to remember the big things that we have to do every day, but it's the little things that have a tendency to slow us down. So I'm going to share with you to begin with how I keep myself on task. When I'm working full time, I'm away from the house, sometimes up to 50 plus hours a week, and that gets to be a lot. So I rely on staying organized to ensure that I can find what I need so that I can make it through my evening quickly, so that I can actually go to bed at a decent hour. Because, 7 o'clock comes early, and I'm not kidding. That's my bedtime. I'm ready for that. So when I get home in the afternoon, in the evening actually, first thing I do is jump into the kitchen here and start making dinner. So I'm going to share with you how to keep basic organization in your refrigerator so that you don't have to fight to find what you're looking for. Here we go. So this lovely little refrigerator, and I'm telling you, it's one of the smaller ones. Nope, not a side-by-side. This sucker's old school, and I'm very specific about how I keep things moving in a direction that makes sense for me. Sorry for the noise in the background. That's just the refrigerator motor that is kicked on because, of course, I have opened the fridge at least 3 times since I started this video, or since prior to starting this video. So I'll start on the top shelf. I do like to keep the things that I use regularly on the top shelf here, and these lovely little organizers I got at Walmart for just a few bucks a piece and are super helpful. So this is where I keep the refrigerated stuff that I use every day with cooking. So basic spices, my lovely little bouillons, my coconut oil, refined of course, because you don't want everything to taste like coconut. And I keep them readily close and easy so that it's easy for me to pull out, get exactly what I need, and put it back in. This is also where I keep the daily stuff that I use. You can see I'm a big junkie of coffee, but I don't brew that stuff. I am a stock girl. I'm a cold brew only, makes my stomach much happier. So everything on that top shelf is stuff that is used every single day for multiple people and multiple reasons. Next shelf down, I keep our spreads that we use as well on a daily basis. Now I line them up with the newest stuff in the far back there. You see the yellow one way back there? Yep, that one is the one I just bought recently. And I do that so that it's constantly fresh. The freshest stuff is put in the furthest back so that it's the last thing used. That which is closest to its date of expiration is out front so that we use that first. These items again are used daily. The next one's over. These are the things that I use for meal preps and those types of things, sometimes additional condiments. You can see I keep my lovely tofu nice and close because, I gotta cook, and I don't eat meat or dairy. I know, it's a big deal. It's not political, it is simply for my own health reasons. But I keep things that are on cue, and when I'm going to be using it, I know where to find it. It's all on this shelf so that I don't have to go in search of it. Next shelf down, this is kind of the holding bin. So this is where I keep those items that I don't use often. So like you can see, I have these lovely little wonton wraps. I love these. So I make barbecued tofu wontons. Strange, I know, but they're quite delicious. Maybe I'll show you one of those at a later time if y'all are interested. And then this is where I save leftovers. My leftovers always go on this next shelf down. So I made pasta sauce the night before last. That's there. And I always keep the pasta directly behind it. Anything that goes together is going to be lined up so I know exactly what it is, and I don't have to explain to Bruce 10 times over where something is in the fridge. If he sees the sauce, he knows the noodles are right behind it. Last night I made a soup, and I break this up a little bit differently. I am more likely to save leftovers in 2 forms. I save them in individual containers like this. So that's a meal. Yes, he can eat that whole thing in one setting. And then anything that's larger, I put in the far back. Anything you put into the far back of the refrigerator is going to hold just a little bit longer because that's where most of the cold air sits. The way that it circulates means that anything that you're worried about expiring too quickly or going bad too quickly, you want to put towards the back of the fridge. Finally, on the very bottom shelf, this is where I keep those extra items that are coming close to expiration. So you can see a loaf of bread back there. Now, I took that out about a week and a half ago, and it was in the cupboard until yesterday or the day before. That's when we decided it was time to move it to the fridge. Because we know it's getting close to that point where it might go bad, I put it in the fridge then, and then we use it for things like toasting, or I'll make breadcrumbs, or those types of things. I find secondary uses for it so that I don't have to worry about it going bad. Finally are my produce drawers. Now, produce is one of those things where you either love it or you hate it. And I don't buy a lot of produce, fresh produce, in the wintertime because prices are too ridiculously high. So I'm really cognizant when I buy certain things, like the green onions per se, I buy them in these vacuum sealed bags because they'll last longer. I'll use that entire bag in probably 2 or 3 meals, and anything that it comes to the point where it's going to go bad will end up coming up here so that I can see it, and that way I know I have to cook with that sucker like right now, and that becomes something I put in a soup or in a stew or something where it can be cooked. My last drawer is my potatoes and onions. Now normally you would see I keep steamed potatoes in my refrigerator because we eat a lot of steamed potatoes, just for the fact that it's cheap and easy and there's no weird oils in your whole potatoes. I don't buy frozen potatoes because they're expensive and because they always have canola or vegetable oil in it, and my body does not react well to that. So don't do that. Not for me anyways. So I always make sure that I have some onions to work with, some potatoes to work with, because those are the basis of a lot of our meals. Yep, lots of white potatoes in this household, and I'm sure you can tell because I'm not a skinny girl, but we love them and we use them. Anything that stays on the outside of your refrigerator door, I look at things that can hold for a long period of time. So condiments are a really great thing to put on the outside of the door because they don't need to be as cold. And when it comes to butter storage, like when I bake, I use sticks, and that's where those suckers stay. They stay inside of there where they should be. This is probably my favorite little suggestion when it comes to storing stuff on this open shelf. These open shelves are in a lot of refrigerators, old and new. I don't know what the point is. I'm assuming that at some point there was an egg holder that sat in here because there's this lovely little lip here. I don't do that though. This is where I keep my garlic. And this is actually one of those jar openers. It's a prior, it's got a lot of gumminess to it. And so when I leave it in here, my garlic actually stays put. It doesn't slide around. And when I open and close the door, I don't have to worry about it continuing to fall into the actual fridge. So that's kind of the basics of how you're going to deal with fridge stuff. Find a system that works well for you. Make sure that whatever you decide to do to organize for yourself is effective for you, because it'll make a difference for your daily functioning. It'll make a difference for how quickly you can get a meal together and how easy it is to communicate to the other people in your house where things are and what things are. Thanks for joining me today. Let me know if you have any comments that might be helpful. Please like and subscribe if this has been helpful for you, and I will see you soon. Thanks.